up, y'all? It's Chris, and we're back again with a different kind of video this time. So aside from my usual track day content and vlogs or whatever, I actually have two major issues with my car at the moment. As you can tell from the title of the video, my radiator fan is broken and the oil pan is actually leaking. These are two surprisingly, well, the first one is surprisingly an expensive job, and the second one, of course, is an expensive job. So in this video, I want to go through my process of getting at least one of these things fixed. So first, we're going to start off with how I think the radiator fan was broken, and the process of getting it fixed, the cost. I'm going to actually show the cost and what I've paid to get these things fixed, and yeah, let's get into the video. All right, we are on our way to the BMW service center nearby. It's like maybe a couple minutes. So recap of what I need to do. So I need to get my radiator fan fixed. It's been vibrating like crazy. It's been vibrating for the last 2 years, but ever since the most recent track day, oh, I hate that bump. Yeah, ever since the most recent track day, it's been vibrating like crazy. Up?
Does your car always make that noise? It's like a fan in there near the fan air conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my air conditioner now just doesn't work. I don't know, I can put it all the way up and it'll just blow hot air. Like it doesn't actually blow cool air to cool down the car. So we're gonna get the radiator fan fixed, and the oil pan has been leaking ever since, I can't remember how many years it's been. I've gotten my oil pan replaced once before at a previous shop, and it still just leaks again. So hopefully this service center can just replace it altogether. I know all this work is going to cost, it's going to be in the thousands for sure, like multiple, right? Like 2,000-3,000, probably 3. What am I saying? It's probably 3. But the reason why I'm going to BMW is because I've gone to another shop before and they quoted me for this work, and it was already, just for the radiator fan, it was like $2,400. So I'm just like, I don't know if BMW is going to be that much more expensive. And then this shop, I won't name them, but the workers in there, they just don't do a good job with things. They'll forget to screw back things in, or leave certain things off. I'll talk about that at another point, but anyway, we're going to the service center. This will be a diagnostic, and hopefully they can get started on the work immediately, and the price is right and all that stuff. So I should also preface this, as I was editing this video, I was trying to find the most important things to show. So before going to the BMW dealer, I did try one shop near me, not the one that I have had issues with. This is a brand new shop that I've never been to. I tried going there, and within like 30 seconds of walking in the door of that shop, the owner said, like, hey, we don't work on modified BMWs. I'm not even gonna comment on that. I guess they have some, prior history with someone with a modified BMW, had some issue or whatever. I don't know what the reason was. So I cut that part out just to make this video a little shorter, but I did try that shop first. He did recommend me, the owner recommended me to another shop nearby, which I have not gone to yet because they close at like 4:30. I work a 9-to-5 job, so it's hard to get there at that time. So anyway, back to the video. Look at it. So weird seeing your car being driven. Like you're always in the car driving, so you never see it moving like that. She's going into service. Ah. Look at it. Oof. Oof. Ooh. Take it easy, though.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows.
He knows.
Wow.
Look at that shit. Look, it's on the floor. Or nearly.
What if he like speeds off?
So a few hours later, the technician was able to actually look at the car and tell me what was wrong. And this is one thing I actually love about the BMW dealership, which other shops may do, but they send you a video of what's wrong, what they've inspected, and what they recommend to change. So I think that's pretty cool.
So we're gonna go over a couple things here. We did see that your first complaint there was you're hearing a noise issue about your fan. It's gonna be a little difficult to show you on camera. I'm gonna try my best, so bear with me here. You're gonna see this piece of your fan is actually broken. You can see it right there. You can see you have a whole missing chunk there, and that's actually what's causing the noise. Unfortunately, you will be needing a fan replacement. It doesn't come separate from the shroud, so we would be replacing the whole housing. And either way, it seemed like the shroud was actually taking up like, you know, these serrated edges here. It was actually hitting the shroud, and it cut it up pretty good. So I'm definitely gonna get that replaced as well, so we'll put in a quote for that. And we did see that your oil pan is leaking. It seems like, you know, you try to have it repaired at some point. Obviously it's not holding, so you can see it's leaking on the floor here. So we'll put in a quote for see if you'd like to get this one replaced as well.
Picked up my car and I'm driving it. Kind of feeling good right now, I ain't gonna lie. I feel like there's like a kind of like a mental thing going on where when you get your car fixed after having it broken or something wrong with it for some period of time, and you finally pick it up and you get to drive it, that first drive, oh man, it's something magical. But yeah, so the fan isn't vibrating right now. I feel like in the past the fan would vibrate and make the steering wheel vibrate when I'm driving. That used to be a thing. That is not happening right now. So far so good. I got the air conditioner on. I got it in Sport Plus, which would make it vibrate the most. And so far it's good. So the fact that your radiator fan can get cracked and it can rub on things within there and cause the whole thing to shake and go wrong and all that stuff, and seemingly mess with your air conditioner. I don't know if that was a coincidence, if it just needed to be recharged or whatever. But anyway, long story short, everything seems to be fine so far. We're gonna go to Atlantic City for a car meet today, and hopefully it's all right. So we'll see. All right, so this is the part of the video that people are probably the most interested in. So the cost of getting a radiator fan fixed or replaced at BMW. I actually have a screenshot open here on my computer of a receipt. So I'm gonna go through it. So the hours, or the total number of hours required for this job is 6. So it took 6 hours for someone to work on the car, replace it and all that stuff, replace the fan and all that. The cost per hour is $375. 6 times 375 is $1,825 just for the labor. Now, the total cost of the parts, again, it's a radiator fan. They had to replace it entirely. They don't make it separately, which I know is true. I actually had this diagnostic done in another shop, and this is in fact true. So the parts cost $1,506.88, and now we have to factor in the tax. The tax is $253.92. There was a discount in there for a lot of different reasons, but the total cost to replace a radiator fan is $3,285.80. So that is just the radiator fan. Now, the cost of replacing a oil pan at BMW it's very expensive. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the receipt for that one because I decided not to do that work. That work is far too expensive, but I didn't, again, I don't have a receipt for it, but I do remember the numbers that I saw in the quote. And it was $2,925 for the labor. So I don't know how many hours, you divide that by 375. And the parts, if I remember, was, I think it was 1,800 maybe? I'll have to confirm. I'll put a screenshot or number on screen to confirm. And then the tax was $386. So altogether, it came out to $4,996 to replace the oil pan. Obviously, I chose not to do that. I'll just have to go to another shop and see if I can get that done elsewhere. So yeah, that is quite a bit, and we're not out of the woods yet, so. All right, so as for how I think this radiator fan could have gotten damaged, and also the oil pan, I'll talk about that too. So honestly, I do not know. Like I said before, I went to the racetrack for the first time in August of 2023. And then 2 months after that, in October of that year, I noticed the fan started vibrating. Not as much as you saw earlier in the video, but it was slowly, progressively getting worse. And my only theories I could think about, which probably doesn't make sense. Maybe you guys watching this have way better theories, but one theory is that somehow on the track or at some point a rock got in there and just like completely shattered one piece of the fan's blades. And then from that point, the serrated edges just kept hitting the shroud, as the BMW technician said earlier. So that's one theory. I don't know if that makes sense because there's just so many things covering it. I can't imagine something getting in there. But that was the first time I ever went to a racetrack, and I'm behind people driving fast and kicking up rocks. That's the only theory I can think of. That's one. Theory number two is that with the car being lowered, maybe I went over kind of like a dip in the road a little bit, and I scraped my front lip at that point, and also maybe I impacted the bottom under tray of the car, and that impact maybe somehow reverberated through the radiator fan and cracked a piece of it. Again, that doesn't make as much sense as I'm saying it out loud, but that's one other theory I can think of. And the reason why I thought of that theory is because my oil pan has been cracked twice. Like I said before, the first oil pan I had with the car got cracked. It was leaking. We swapped it out with another used oil pan, and here it is leaking again. The leak this time around seems different from the first one because the first one was cracked. This time it seems like the drain plug is leaking for some reason. But the first time it was cracked, and I'm wondering if maybe I hit a pothole or a dip in the road at a certain speed or angle or whatever, where it cracked the oil pan and also possibly, impacted the radiator fan. And yeah, I don't know if those theories make sense, but that's what I think could have happened. Now, having not done extensive research, and by research I mean Google, having not done any of that, I don't think the radiator fan is something that breaks very often. So if you're watching this video thinking if you have an F82, F80, whatever, and you're thinking this could happen to you, I mean, things can happen, as has happened to me, but I don't think this is something that's super common. It could be maybe like a freak accident. It could be the previous owner of this car maybe had a similar issue and they, ended up doing it too. But yeah, I'm not sure. So I think it really depends on, so yeah, like I said, it could just depend on a variety of factors. But with that being said, I do not think this is a common occurrence. I think this is very rare. So rare that I would call it maybe a freak accident, possibly. Maybe people in the comments could tell me, if they've had to have done this before themselves, and then you can correct me. Maybe this is something that happens, but I don't think this is something that people would worry about with F80Xs. So I just wanted to share that opinion. And overall, I'm just of the mind that if you're gonna spend thousands of dollars, you want peace of mind with that work. So going to BMW, that price, $375 an hour, is very expensive. It's, it's an uncomfortable cost to think about. But you know, I would rather leave knowing that everything was screwed back on perfectly. They didn't leave anything missing. I think that's all I have for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was informative and can be helpful to someone out there possibly dealing with this. And yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one. Peace. Also, I forgot to mention my air conditioner is not fully fixed. It was working for like a day when I drove, and then now it is back to not working. It's blowing hot air again. I'm probably gonna have to take that back to BMW. That is probably much more than the air conditioner needing to be recharged, probably something worse. So I'll keep you updated on that. But for now, I'm gonna play this Battlefield 6 beta. So now, peace.